Here's a concerning situation. 4 people have been shot dead at a shebeen in Florida in Johannesburg. Community members blame illegal miners in the area and are now threatening to take to the streets. eNCA reporter Silindelo Masikane is following that story and joins me now. So Silindelo, yet another shooting at an establishment that sells alcohol, but also bringing up other themes in terms of the crime and security situation in the country.
Yeah.
What do we know about this incident at this stage?
So, I mean, me and my colleague Joe Matlala got to the area of Jerusalem, which is a township in the West Rand. And, of course, details at that point still sketchy. At this point, the police have released a statement, but even that one doesn't really give you much information. It says that they're mobilizing to catch these suspects. Apparently, it's about 3 men who made their way to this particular tavern, started shooting randomly, and we understand that 4 people then passed away. From the statement itself, the police saying that at this point the motive still unknown, but of course speaking to the community, which would have a little bit more insight in terms of what happened. They're telling us that this has to do essentially with a turf war between Zamazamas in the area. They're saying that the 4 people who have passed away are Zimbabwean nationals, 3 of whom are known in the area as partaking in illegal mining. The 4th person who was killed is the owner of the liquor outlet, and what we understand from the police statement is that he runs an illegal establishment, and according to the community, it seems as though he was collateral damage in terms of not having any witnesses to identify the 3 assailants that came in. And according to the community, those people who shot at these patrons of the tavern are actually Basotho nationals who are also Zamazamas. So that's what we're hearing on the ground, but the police, of course, not confirming these details. Let's just take a listen to the ward councillor from the area.
I received a WhatsApp message early hours this morning from one of the community leaders that there's been a shooting at this tavern where 4 people were shot dead. And then I came here. On my way here, I received a call from the colonel at Florida police station to say, let's meet here. Then we came here. When we arrived here, there were 4 dead bodies inside the tavern, and there were police. When we asked around from community members, it was confirmed that there were 3 illegal miners who came and shot at those people. And then after they shot them, and then they left, promising that they will come back for more in this community.
So in trying to piece together a picture of what happened, I understand you spoke to someone who was among the first people to arrive on the scene.
Yeah.
What are they telling you?
So this is someone who was actually DJing at the tavern, and he's saying the tavern closed at around midnight. So he got a call in the early hours of the morning around 4 a.m. saying that a shooting had taken place. So he actually joined one of the family members to go to the tavern in the early hours of the morning, and he then describes exactly what they saw and what they found when they arrived. Let's take a listen.
Fitla mo ke thotse Germany o after ka kena le ena to check out go etsahalang thola 3 ya batho ba wetse mo, then 1 o wetse ka mohare cause rena chest ka 12. So ke bona bothata bo rile lona, but information e rile ra utlwa ke batho ba lor ke ba entse ba thuntse batho ba re ke Basotho. Because ona le basadi ba tebetsweng ka mo hara tavern ba lor ke ba ne ba ituletse fela.
So the whole community shocked, South Africa shocked, and reeling from shock of living through this yet again.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the families must be feeling.
Yeah, quite emotional scenes. In fact, earlier this morning, we know, of course, that the family members of the tavern owner then made their way as well to the crime scene, and it was just tears all around. It seems that the tavern owner was not only loved by his family, but the community as well, kind of questioning how he ended up in this situation. But the family then, of course, hoping for justice in this particular matter. But we know that this issue of Zamazamas, to us, I'm not quite sure if law enforcement even has a handle on it. We've seen the spate of attacks across taverns, not only in Gauteng, but in various provinces as well. But in particular here in Gauteng, it seems to be something that's continuing unabated. But let's just take a listen to one of the brothers of the deceased, the owner of the tavern, who was shot, in fact, just behind the counter where he was selling from. Let's take a listen.
I came early in the morning here. From the way I heard from the people, this thing happened in the morning, around 5 o'clock. And this guy, it was closed, it was not open, and there were other Zamazama just sleeping in the tavern. But it was not open, and then they came other guys, but they are local guys. They came with guns, and then they started to harass until they opened for him, and they demanded money. And that's when they shoot him. From the observations from the people who inspected him, they said he was coming blood on the face. So I think they hit him first, then they killed him. Those other people, they saw the people, because it was in the morning.
Yeah, so that's our situation, Silindelo, because, I mean, you're reporting on this story, but it's becoming unavoidable to link these incidents and just talk about the broader situation of security in the country. You and I were talking off air about this situation in Ermelo a few days ago, which was nothing short of a terror incident.
It's terrifying to us. And just yesterday we were speaking to the police minister, where I put it to him, I said, do you not think law enforcement is actually losing the war on crime? He says absolutely not, that it's just going to take a multidisciplinary approach, which is something we hear all the time, that the police just simply cannot do it on their own. The communities need to get on board. They know who these people are. They live amongst them. They need the help of these communities to start outing them and not protect them. But then it's a double-edged sword at the same time, because communities are living with these criminals, and to expect them to speak out and not fear for their own lives, I think is a little bit unfair. But it certainly speaks to the socio-economic conditions of the people living in South Africa, whether you're here legally or illegally. Crime simply affects us all.
And the weapons that are out there. I mean, just about a week ago, that raid, did you see that assortment of rifles that was laid out?
Absolutely terrifying. It's terrifying to know that just criminals are able to get access to these kinds of weapons and what they're doing to them, because essentially communities are living in terror.